Welcome to another commentated workout on Friday Fitness. You're welcome that I'm wearing entire shorts today, and I'm not just in my underwear. Still haven't got a haircut. Beard still a mess. First exercise I'm doing is my cross-body landmine press. And I do this a lot. I've done it a lot for years because I want to work the very, very center of my chest. I have a video, I might have multiple videos on the channel explaining this movement, how I do it and why. But if you really want to get those notches in your collarbone, crossing the center line of your body with an upward motion is the way to do it. And you'll see I always have my free hand in that area, feeling those muscles specifically fire. And that's why it's a purely aesthetic motion. There's just no practical purpose to this. There's no moment in your life where you're gonna be like, yeah, I need to face this direction and push something up and across my body and away from me. But it is totally safe and it is a comfortable movement. I think there's no danger to it, no discomfort to it, even with my shoulder being kind of pingy lately. This movement feels fine. And you'll notice I'm in my quick alternating segment. For anyone keeping track, which I guess is primarily me, the first block of every workout is always the quick alternate, because you just don't need to rest at the start of a workout. It's actually more frustrating than beneficial to take a whole minute between sets at the start of the day. And biceps looking pretty good. Also, I can't pause the timer when I'm filming a workout because it'll just create too much of an editing problem. So I already have the next thing ready to go so that I don't have to pause whatsoever. Normally, it is okay to pause between the two movements. Like I'm doing left landmine press, right landmine press, 3 times on each side, and then there's going to be the next movement. Spoiler, it's called a ground and pound press. It's just written on my board as GP, ground pound. And it comes from just trying to figure out what would be the perfect opposite of this movement. If you're pushing crossbody up to develop one area of your chest, then how could you press crossbody down to develop the corresponding lower area and hit your serratus a bit and do an isolating version of a dip? So look forward to that. I'm already struggling deeply to hold up my end of the conversation here. Which is fine. Enjoy whatever weird, difficult music I put in underneath this. What's important with the landmine press is that you don't rotate with it. You want to take every other part of your body out of it. It's not mimicking a throw or a shot put type motion. You are keeping your core still and isolating your chest and doing a press. Like all compound pressing motions, you're going to feel it in your tricep too. There's just nothing you can do to avoid that. I tend to stay away from flies proper lately because they always seem to end up bothering my shoulder when I get them to a satisfying weight. And everything I've come up with to try and target the upper chest that is a fly has ultimately felt worse on my shoulder. And you can see that my gymnastic rings are in frame and they are going to come into play. I said yesterday that they would come into play on a future video at some point, and then I decided I was going to film every day this week. So you'll get to see my truly strange exercises that I normally hide away in secret shame. So yeah, this is me not being able to switch in time. Typically I will pause the timer in between these two movements. So, bam. It's the same motion, but downward. It mimics a dip really, really well. That was just me checking the framing. I feel so embarrassed every time I look at the camera and remember that this is me watching myself, talking about myself, and yet it's going to be seen by other people who will then think, wow, what a twat. But so far, the previous video, which is up, has 0 views. So maybe there is no one to think, what a twat. And this is a tree falling in the woods, totally unheard. It's actually a really rainy day. I'm surprised the video is this bright. It felt quite dark or dim in the room at the time. I've got my free hand on my serratus, feeling for the stretch and contraction there. You can put it different places for this movement if you want to specifically try and get a connection to specific places. You can just put it on your front delt, really, in the connection between the front delt and your pec, or you can put it on your inner chest, wherever you want to feel it. And since I haven't mentioned it lately, or on this video, this type of rope that I have is known as a kinetic rope. You get it at hardware stores, and it has an eye loop on each end, so you can very easily attach it to things like this. And it's just going over the top of the pull-up bar that I made from a different hardware store. It's just plumbing pipes. You'll see me change the angle of these a lot, just to try and find the sweet spot of connection to the pressing motion and to get the most out of the range of motion, to feel a good strong pull backwards, as close as possible, mimicking the feeling of the top of a dip. And there's 20 pounds on the end, and when I'm doing this on Tuesdays, because I do this movement twice a week, on Tuesdays it's at the end of the day, so there is a rest in between. I do it with 25, and that caused me to think, well, since I'm quickly alternating here, I might not be able to do that, and it's better to do it at 20. And once I started, I didn't want to stop. I actually wish I'd done it at 25. It was a tad too easy in the time available. And I wish I was much more strict about not leaning into it and leaning back with it. This has definitely given me a chance to see that I need to be much stricter with the form here and isolating the pressing motion and not making it such a full body thing. Because if you really lean into it, you can move a lot more weight, but you're not having more effect on the target muscle. Stillness and isolation is what has an effect on the target muscle for an aesthetic movement, where I'm just trying to do hypertrophy for the sake of changing the way my body looks. Isolation movements are key. I made the timer too small in the version I'm watching. I cannot tell what interval I'm on. I do know that I was super tired at the start of this workout because it's just miserable weather and a miserable life, and I waited way too long to get started this morning. So I've just had 2 black coffees and I'm working on my third during this workout, and I started at like 11:30 or noon or something because I just sat around being depressed for the entire morning. But once I did get into it, I had a really enjoyable workout. I don't think I was as strong as I've ever been because of the nutrition and the mood, but I wasn't shockingly weak on most motions. My shoulder bothering me really affects my overhead press, so I got that. Felt bad. That's coming up in the future. That didn't feel great, and it probably didn't look great, and I think I framed it badly because I wasn't looking. When you're doing overhead presses, don't look around the room. Keep your neck forward. Eyes forward, neck forward. Safe, safe, safe. Okay, bringing in the rings. This is where I really wanted to get into ring stuff because it's so much more challenging. It's not better for hypertrophy. Stability is best for hypertrophy. You want to be isolating as much as possible. I really love the calisthenic movements. I really love dips and moving my body through space, and so making them harder and teaching my body to find its own stability is strength training and functional training. This is someday we're all going to be on an overturned ocean liner and have to make our way upward to the bottom of the boat for rescue. And on that day, we're going to have to do dips on some unstable surfaces. So you're going to want to be prepared. Also, maybe someday you'll be thrown in a volcano and there'll be a set of Olympic rings. And that's it. You notice I did stop really, really early. This whole block is a failure block. I used to do a lot more failure blocks than I'm doing now because I like training to failure, but you just shouldn't do it too often, especially if you work out 6 days a week. So all of these movements I'm just going to take to failure and then take the additional rest. So you'll see me work for like 30 seconds, fail out, and then right now I'm in the kitchen washing my shaker cup in anticipation of making my shake for the day, my first shake. And so, dead air, dead air, dead air, thrilling commentary. The one person watching the video gives up at this point. And that's fine. You can leave. You can move on with your life. I can't. I live here. I'm in no rush because I know I'm going to fail out. we lock out at the top, lift your feet, sink down, press up and inward a bit, as if you're going to cross your body and bring your hands together, just because it helps get some activation in your chest. And superhero landing. Then thinking about how I need to efficiently clean up in rest periods and set up for the next things and what directions I'm going to have to face for the sake of the camera being by the window. Yeah, use your rest periods to tidy up and sing to yourself. Dead air. Enjoy the music. Enjoy the other videos you're watching in mini mode next to this, or if you're watching something in your main window and this is minied. Last one of the ring dips, and my glowing white Celtic body. And you can see how this is a core relevant exercise. Like, you can see my serratus anterior flexing while I'm doing this. That is part of pressing motions, especially if you're pressing downward. And that's how you get a good look there, and a good thing that frames your abs and guides the eye towards your abs. And now the pull-up bar is going away, so you're seeing me take the feet off of one side. And then it's going to fit up against the wall again, as it does in its resting mode. There's some of my spine. There's 2 seconds of doing a yoke carry. This is me getting ready for the overhead press, since it is the next motion. I'm aware that I'm running out of time, so I'm trying to hurry but not hurry. Trying to be quick but not sloppy. Trying to be hasty but not rushing. Trying to rush with no haste. And do a proper setup. And then I'm immediately like, my shoulder doesn't like this. And yeah, the camera angle turned out to not be great for the full range of motion, but there is no need to do the overhead press. Again, it is a strength thing, a functional thing. It may have some life uses someday. It's not great for hypertrophy. This is me trying to get my shoulder to glide properly, because it just felt like crap on this exercise. It's still improving. I couldn't do anything that involved a clean type movement for a long time. So my shoulder is improving since I stopped doing flies and started incorporating some shoulder impingement rehab in my warm-up, which viewers don't see because I want to keep this to a nice tight 59 minutes. That is, like I said, black coffee number 3 for the day. I think this is a moment where YouTube was asking me if I was still watching. When I'm doing these, I don't perceive any arch in my back, but it looks like it. I always focus on keeping my core as strong as I can. It does not look great from the outside. And yeah, I end up failing out quickly because my shoulder doesn't feel good, and I haven't done much overhead. I haven't worked on overhead pressing. I don't do it. I do it 1 or 2 days a week now. I'm pretty sure there's 2 right now. We'll find out as I film more, because I'm always tweaking exercises. If you could see my whiteboard really clearly, there's always the workout in black at the top, and then there are ideas for movements that I want to include in blue below that. And if I have a movement that isn't satisfying for a couple of days in a row, I will start subbing it out for the one in blue, so that I'm always kind of optimizing a day without ever it losing its focus. Like, this is a chest focused day and a push focused day, which is why it includes overhead pressing, because it's about resisting gravity to push something away from you. So if bodybuilding would think of this as a chest and tricep day, and strength focused would consider it a push day, and it's a little bit of everything for me. Spoiler, I want to break the habit of saying spoiler, and I think everyone should break this habit of just saying spoiler when you're about to say something, because it's not, the word spoiler has lost all meaning. It's just a slang term, but I'm already speaking. You know I'm speaking. You know I'm about to say things. Upcoming, the third block is actually toe dips, calf raises, and then 2 kinds of ab exercises, because it's the end of my workout week. It's day 6, and I need to get in the volume on those movements. So I get a lot of chest and pressing exercises in with the landmine, the ground and pound, ring dips, and then overhead press and 2 kinds of bench. So there's no need to dig deeper and throw in more push-ups and shit. And I need to get as many, I like to do my toe dips and calf raises basically every other day for the health of my legs and my feet and my running strength and that kind of thing. And same with abs. It's just, you need a little more volume to actually notice hypertrophy in your abs and to see meaningful changes. So hitting abs 3 times a week means getting it in on the day before rest day. And you can kind of see it. You probably saw it when I was moving it. There's a shirt on the bench because I'm not wearing a shirt and I don't want to put my bare skin on leather when I'm sweating. That's gross. So the bench wears a shirt so that I don't have to. Oh, and I remember this. I start bumping into the chair that's at the sewing desk next to me. That's what that look is. Where I'm like, okay, this will be fine. It's not too in the way. I just nudged it a little bit, and then like, oh crap, it really does start fucking me up. And I think I'm excited to find out if I actually messed up how many sets of these movements that I do. Because at the end of this block, when I thought I was done, I still had a set left on the timer. So I might have fucked up and only done 2 barbell and 4 dumbbell. And we will see when I kneel in front of the camera and broadcast that I am hoping to deduce that. Which is another reason that I use the timer. Doing a workout, you can often... anyone who hasn't experienced this will be shocked how common it is to finish your second set and go, that's 3, that must have been 3. Because you're tired and bored and you're doing a very familiar thing. And so not having to keep track, not having to count your reps or your sets is an absolute blessing. This is my second one because I added the 5-pound plates. I first left them. Usually I do. This is all the plates that I have. This is the max weight. It's a 25, a 10, and a 5. Normally I always do all of the plates for all 3 sets. I was worried about my shoulders, so I started with just the 25 and 10, but it felt fine. So, like I said, this is a failure block, so I want to be failing relatively soon. I don't want to get to 50 seconds. So, that's me throwing on all the weight and doing all the plates that I have for a very, very safe solo bench. And you can always sit up from a bench press movement. You'll see it with the dumbbells too. I'm going to dumbbell press to failure, and I'm just going to sit up and not drop the weights or anything. And I absolutely forgot a fucking set of barbell. Which means I get 4 sets of dumbbell, which is a better stretch anyways. So, good. I do both because I find barbell really satisfying. It's quite enjoyable. And just for boredom's sake, I wouldn't want to do 6 sets of dumbbell. But dumbbell is technically, for my purposes, superior because you get the deeper stretch. Someday, I'll have a cambered bar and be able to get that max stretch with a barbell. And technically, you can always move a heavier amount of like max weight with a barbell because it's a little more stable. And you see me doing a proper setup there where they're resting on my knees, and then I roll back and sort of pop them up into place. Safe, easy, reliable. That's how you get into a DB press, and you'll see how I quite easily get out. Now the phone on which I'm recording is ringing. I cannot hang up. Good, I hung up. Which probably also fucking means my voicemail notification is gonna go off. This is the most ghetto ass popsicles and rubber bands setup for a non-aspiring fitness YouTuber. I have no ambition I'm just doing this because I feel like doing it. I'm doing it to get rid of the feeling that I could and should do it. All the paintings on the wall. Me, painted them about 2 years ago. I got super into painting and then I fell off completely. I did like 300 paintings a year for 2 years and then I stopped. And I keep meaning to go back to it. But I never pull the trigger and do a painting again. And I come rushing back because I can hear the timer from the kitchen. By rushing back, I mean walking at a pretty gentle pace. I think you can see some haste there. On the thighs. Set up. Lift the legs. Use the legs to guide the dumbbells into place. Begin pressing. Reminder to yourself, consider moving the clock for this exercise so that we can actually see it. And then I'm actually going to get my shake ready finally. Lid close. Shake. Shaken. I'm going to end up repeating myself every time as if no one's going to watch all of these or people are going to start in random spots. But my first shake of the day has a teaspoon of sugar, a dose of creatine, a scoop of whey that contains lactate, and a scoop, in this case, of chocolate vegan protein powder. And the reason it has a teaspoon of sugar in it is like, this is my intro workout shake and it's my first thing of the day. So a little extra carbs to motivate the body to absorb it. Get a little interested. Literally to sweeten the deal. And then I'm digging super deep and thinking like, yeah, this is the last set, so leave it all on the table. And then I'm absolutely baffled to find out that there's one left. Thinking, picking the weights back up. Confused. Knowing that I'm going to be speaking on this in the future, me from the past is excited to find out, watching the footage, if I did exactly what I did and stopped barbell 1 early. So I hit one last one. take it to failure, just live in that failing space for a while until you feel the adrenaline surge, like you really need to get out of it. It's deeply satisfying. I went through a long period of lifting to failure way too much, and I just wound up feeling like I was getting sick all the time because it's so hard on your system to lift to failure constantly, and it's not actually better for hypertrophy. You want to be lifting to near failure most of the time, but this is the day before rest day, and it's just fun and satisfying. It is okay to do things suboptimally for the sake of enjoyment. The most fair thing about lifting is 80% effort will get you 80% results. If you make a few sacrifices in perfect form or perfect design for the sake of enjoying it, and that enjoyment keeps you consistent longer, better, overall you're ahead of the game. Like, make sure you're working out in a way where you have as little hesitation as possible before you start, and it goes by quickly and pleasurably, so you don't dread doing it and then take days off and make excuses to take days off. You need like 300 workouts a year to change, to have an impact year over year. And so consistency and always doing workouts is so much easier if you love the workout, rather than thinking you've designed something so perfect, but it's tedious. Yeah, and then this is where you're going to see me doing toe dips, which is a thing I'm sure most people aren't familiar with. I actually learned them as a way of getting over shin splints from running, and it was tremendously beneficial in that you want to strengthen your tibial muscles. And the health of my lower legs and feet is a concern of mine, not just as a runner where I need to have good strength and resilience and control of my ankles so that my running form doesn't suffer and running isn't breaking me down. Also, just because as you age, if your feet get fucked up, that's going to fuck your whole body up. Your relationship to the ground is extremely important, and gravity's not your friend after like 35, not just for aesthetics, but for like blood pooling in your feet and in your calves and things like that. Eventually you get deep vein thrombosis, and I don't know, a blood clot forms in your calf, goes to your heart and you die. Goes to your brain and you have an aneurysm. Not sound medical advice, I don't know. So yeah, I'm doing, and you will absolutely find toe dips exhausting. It's just the perfect opposite of a calf raise. Put your heel on the stair and dip your toes down as quickly as you can. It fucking burns so much. Yeah, this is me trying to like roll those muscles a bit to loosen them up because they're already so fried instantly. Inspirational moment, looking up and out the window, thinking, what a gray day in a gray world. I wish we'd all die. Bounce, bounce, bounce. Jiggle, jiggle, jiggle. Head out of frame. You can't see how much I'm wincing, but the fact like you see me leaning forward and starting to like hold my thigh, that's a testament to how much it is burning and I am struggling. And yeah, I give up quickly and like limp off. Those are so much more brutal than you think. Again, someday I'm gonna put together a list of the most deceptively difficult movements, and toe dips will be on there for sure. They look like nothing, and yet they will kill a man straight dead. Hey, this has been a long silence. There's like 11 minutes left. Will it all be silence? Couldn't be. Doing calf raises on a stair so that I can get my heels below and get a full stretch on the calf. Again, brutally painful to try and do 50 seconds of calf raises unbroken. I've never been able to add weight to my calf raises, or I could do them single leg. If I could fit them into a block somewhere in the future, I could switch to that if I ever feel like, yeah, I'm strong enough on calf raises that they're not having an impact. But the fact is, like, calf raises are a destroyer, so. Let me just step off so gingerly. And this is me starting to figure out, like, where I'm going to do. Because normally, doing my crunches, I'm facing the door. With the camera set up, I'm like, okay, so I'm gonna do it facing the window. I feel like that's also gonna look pretty bad. And so I'm like, I'll do them perpendicular to the window. Drinking black coffee. I think at this point I'm watching the video from Punk It by Electric Callboy and thinking, God, what a great video, what a great song. Just glowing skin. Even if I step back, like, you can see that I do have a tan. I've been running shirtless all summer. I've not super pale and pasty. Just glowing white from the very, very dim, cloudy day outside. Oh yeah, desperately trying to get blood in and out of my leg. And then the stool goes back to the front door where it is used for sitting on to put one's shoes on. Put on one's shoes. Do not enter the preposition. Grab a plate for those your crunches. And the thing about ab exercises, the perfect connection kind of comes and goes. You can inadvertently do a lot of reps that just don't feel great on the target muscle. And you end up like feeling them in your back, or you're just going through the motions. I think it's okay to be loose with the timer on ab exercises. If you get in to the zone, keep going. If you really get like a good crunch going, you'll burn out way quicker than if you have a mediocre mind-muscle connection. Plus, repositioning yourself on the Bosu constantly, just like to find the exact right spot. So ab exercises, frustrating is the wrong word. You just have to be patient with them. Like, don't expect to get 50 seconds of perfect feeling crunches every time. If you need to adjust, if you need to change your breathing, if some of them hit and some of them don't, it's all fine. Again, if you get 300 workouts a year, if you're losing some body fat by eating just below maintenance, that's all you need to do. Drastic caloric deficits are not necessary. Your midsection can look better and better and better. And your posture is such an important part of your midsection looking better as well. You shouldn't neglect exercises for your hips and things like that. The way you carry yourself is a big part of what makes you look good. It's not just about having a super low body fat percentage and hypertrophic abs. My skin is like 40 different shades, from where I get flushed, where I'm tanned, where I'm not tanned, where I'm pale, where my circulation is poor. Just insanity. Yeah, having a very off and tired day at the end of a tough and off week definitely makes crunches harder. Because it's important, it's hard at this distance to tell that I'm working so hard to not dome my stomach. YouTuber Meg Squats did a video called Don't Be a Domer that changed my life and changed the way I do ab exercises. And she's great. Follow her Instagram, follow her YouTube, and don't be a domer. And you will get way, way, way more out of exercises if you kind of learn how to draw your belly in and your pelvic floor up, and be able to keep breathing while you're doing that, but breathe in a rhythm that works with the exercise rather than against it. And ultimately you'll have a better looking midsection aesthetically if you can learn not to dome. Which is why on the next exercise you'll see me holding my hand on my stomach to make sure that I'm not. It goes away on the final exercise of the day, and I'm not going for a run after. Staring out the window, looking back at myself, staring out the window. Okay. So I've always respected hanging leg raises. I could never make them satisfying. The exhausted grip, the ease with which you can fuck them up by just raising your knees, not really moving your hips. And so thinking about how to best mimic a hanging leg raise, I was like, yeah, you just need to be working against gravity as long as you can at the bottom of the range there, getting a stretch on your abs by touching your heels to the ground or close to the ground, while keeping your glutes tight and your hips forward. It's important not to just fold in half here, really bring your hip, think about how your abs move your hips, they don't move your legs. You can just raise your knees, or you can think of your whole body here as a long whip-like thing, like you are throwing something in slow motion with your feet. And you need a whole throwing motion, not just a bend. This is just me tidying up. That was the shirt that was keeping the landmine in place. It occurs to me now that this is doubling the amount of time that fitness takes up in my day now. Because it's an hour to work out, then it's an hour of watching it and commenting on it. And I could break up the commentary, but then that would increase the time with which I was editing it. So, just sitting through watching this in real time, which no one else is doing. So yeah, my free hand there is just floating on my belly so that I can make sure that I'm not doming up. I'm keeping really good tension there and getting the most out of the exercise. This is the importance of putting music in these things. Even if the music feels weird and inappropriate, because that's the type of music that I make. This is just, whatever you're listening to, I haven't put the music in yet. Whatever you're listening to is ambient stuff that I make, and I make ambient stuff to be weird and unnerving. It's not meant to be like pleasant. It's meant to be evocative of BioShock and things like that. It's sneaky, eerie, dystopian video game ambient music. And we're done. The machine says good job, and I say good job, and the job says good job. I come and salute the camera, and it's over. Never talk to me or my kettlebells again.